Hey, what's up guys? It's Art Book Addiction here, and we're here with a new artist journey video. So today, we're going to be talking about transcension, okay? Or transcending yourself, okay? Basically, it's when you leave the lowly realm and enter the divine realm, okay? And I wanted to talk about it more specifically in terms of not just yourself, but your work as well, and kind of like your being, okay? So, we live in reality. We live in the lowly realm. We live in the place where there are physical things, right? I spoke about it in the previous videos about the two worlds, okay? And in art, the goal is transcendence, okay? It's a thing that, there's so many, monks out there. There's a lot of religions. They talk about, ascending, rising above the needs and the wants of your human self, okay? And art allows for that, okay? That's our way of doing it, okay? The artist. And so I just wanted to get a little bit more in depth with that. But before we start the video, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, check my Patreon if you want to support the channel, and consider becoming a channel member. And with that, let's get into it. So, transcension. What made me want to speak about this, basically? Okay, so, I feel like there's in my life, there's a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, you know what I mean? It's that kind of time, and so I know that you guys probably feel this way too. There's a lot of bullshit. For others, maybe fear, you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that stir within us, okay, as artists, okay? Artists have the chaos engine within them, okay, that fuels creation, okay? It's just an innate part of being an artist. And the way to gain peace is through our art, okay? And art is kind of an escape, okay? Kind of escape from all the right? And we want to be able to rise above it, okay? Right? And that's where the transcension comes from. That's where the transcending comes from, okay? That's where we want to uplift ourselves over the problems and the frustrations of everyday life. And when you transcend, it's only for a temporary period of time, but in that period of time, I would say that you actually feel true harmony, okay? True peace with yourself, with your work, with the higher realm, okay? And for a second, you could really forget about this place, about the reality, okay? Right? And some people are gonna be like, oh no, you always gotta stay in reality, you always gotta you don't want to escape. And it's that's anyone who says that is full of shit, okay? Because everyone knows that reality sucks ass, okay? It really does. And for some it sucks worse, for some it's better, okay? But we all can agree, right, as just humans, that this kind of not the best, okay? Not the best, right? And so we want an escape from that, right? And the job of the artist, okay, is to facilitate that, okay? And we do that through our work, okay? So normal people don't do this, but they benefit from it, okay? They benefit from a moment of transcendence, a moment of escape, okay? In terms for video games, okay, movies, music, okay? There is an escape from that, okay? Maybe not maybe not today's movies and stuff like that, but you get what I'm saying, okay? There is an escape. There is a way out for just a couple minutes, a couple hours, you know what I mean? You're just out of this gunk, right, and brought into the higher realm. Okay, well, the artist is there to bring that to them. Okay, show these people that transcendence, give the people a little bit of that peace, right? And that's why art and music and like things of creation are held so dearly. Okay, because it allows us to have to escape, okay, and look at something beyond us, okay, and just to not have to worry about the day-to-day problems, the all the politics and all this stuff, like, right? That's why people really enjoy movies of the past, okay, because they were filled with that energy, right? When people would say, like, hey, I don't want my movies to be to this or to that, you know what I mean? It's because true works of art bring you away from that, okay? And there's maybe there are themes and stuff like that that deal with reality, okay? But a true art should take you away from it, okay? And it could like commentate and all that stuff like that, but it takes you away from the moment, immerses you in a different place, okay? Immerses you in a different environment. There's a different story, you know what I mean? And maybe the story is like one that you could relate to, okay, or one that you may not relate to, like, in terms of, like, I mean, you could relate to it like on an emotional level. Maybe you just don't relate to it like well, that situation never happened to me, you know what I mean? But then it allows us to, like, leave this realm, maybe learn something, okay, about something deeper within us, and then we come down back into the realm with that new knowledge, okay, wiser and better, hopefully, so that we can make the world a little bit better, right? Or what have you, okay? A lesson learned, something where we take it and we internalize it through the music, through the movie, through the art piece. We take it, we learn something, and we come back down and we're like, okay, well, now I know that thing, and I want to make things, and hopefully I can apply it and make things better, okay, right? Or it depends on the piece, okay? It depends on the lesson that is trying to be imparted, right? And the thing is that I don't think we really, like a true artist does not really know the exact message that they're trying to portray yet, okay? Like, you kind of, like, you will know by the end, okay? But when you start out, you're gonna it's gonna get confusing, and you're gonna, like, have to, like, bob and weave and, like, move it, and, like, and say, that's the thing right there, right? And that's the best way, okay? It's to feel it out, right? The best shows that I've seen do that, okay? Like, recently Better Call Saul ended, right? And what I love about Vince and Peter and the way they work is that it's very flexible for them. A lot of characters weren't supposed to last that long, but they're like, I really like that, I'm gonna leave it in, right? Or I'm gonna leave this character in, right? And so, like, they move, and they're like, okay, well that doesn't quite work. And, like, a lot of the best stuff works like that, right? A lot of, like, you like, when I'm making my work, right, I have an intention when I start out, but then when things change and, like, they're like, oh, that doesn't quite work, I move with it. I'm like, okay, well, like, that doesn't work, but this really works, so I'm just gonna keep going there, right? And I'm gonna keep following that, right? And that's following your instincts and trusting yourself to be able to be led by the muse, okay? And letting the piece that you're creating become itself and its best self, right? When we exert control, then the piece isn't being allowed to be what it wants to be, okay? And learning to control that, or learning to feel that, is hard, okay? And that's a part of the transcendence, okay? So when you start out, you're not going to be able to feel the pull of the divine or the muse very well, okay? It's like with everything, it's a skill. Once you get better at it, you start trusting yourself more, okay? And then you're like, okay, it's okay to be led by my nose. You know what I mean? It's okay to follow something, and you're like, I have this instinct. I don't know what it is, and that's, intuition, right? And intuition goes above normal just intelligence, normal just like instincts, right? Intuition is when you feel something. You feel something. You're like, there's something there. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna go for it. Okay, and that's when you start reaching. That's when you start reaching for the divine. Okay, and the divine is the truth. Okay, and that's really what we're chasing. Okay, we ascend to the divine. We gain a truth. Okay, we gain something that maybe you didn't know before, maybe you didn't believe before, but it is an essential truth. Okay, and then you brought down, and then you're like, you come down, you're like, and then you return to the world of lies, and you now you're like, well, now I know the truth. Okay, and all these lies can't do nothing to prevent me from knowing that truth. Okay, right? And it's weird because like truth is a conceptual thing, okay, but it's solid. Okay, as solid as this table or whatever. You know what I mean? It's the truth is unbreakable. Okay, right? But it's hard to find. It's elusive. It's mysterious. Okay, and in a world of lies, the truth is the most powerful thing that you can own, right? And so when we transcend, we gain the truth, we bring it back, and we show it to the world. Okay, and it's not up for you to make them believe it. Okay, they may believe it, they may not believe it, they may deny the truth. Okay, they may embrace the truth. Okay, but it's not up for you to determine what they do. Okay, because that's their world, that's their person. Okay, but you want to give them the opportunity. Okay, you want to give them the chance for themselves to ascend like us. Okay, and return. And it's a circular, it's a cyclical process. We feel the truth. We want to we want to create the truth. We want to, artists, they want to, they feel this thing, this powerful force within them. Okay, and they are inspired, and they feel like yes, like I want to do that too, right? And so we learn, we practice, we achieve our skill, and we get better. We stack our skills, we get better, right? We create the ladder for us to ascend. Okay, so that we may reach the truth, and that we may bring our own truth into our world once again. Okay, and I'm not saying like our truth as in like oh, this is my truth. Okay, because that's bullshit. Okay, the truth is beyond that. Okay, it never comes from the person, it comes from above us. Okay, it comes from the divine. All right, and that's what you really want to achieve. Okay, and so when we have, that's why it can't just be one work. Okay, it can't just be one piece that you make, right? So I just talked about ascension on a singular basis, right? On a one piece, one at a time, one session. Okay, right? So now we're gonna look at the bigger picture. Okay, the bigger ascension, right? Which is like, to me, like the true ascension, right? So when you think about the great artists of the past, the masters, they have reached true ascension. Okay, when they have uplifted themselves to the point where there is a massive benefit to humanity, or they've risen so above themselves, you're not even concerned about the person and who they were anymore. You're only concerned about the work that was produced. Okay, and a lot of times, honestly, the person is irrelevant. You know what I mean? Like, it's great for inspiration. It's great for like, yeah, I do the same thing. I feel, I feel the same pull, right? But we, the artists, don't really matter that much. Okay, I mean, we matter as in like we are the creators. Okay, and so that does matter. But like, you know, in the stretch of like time and all that stuff, like we are temporary. Okay, but the work we produce is eternal. Okay, that's why when like great pieces of art are destroyed or like ruined or extinguished, it's such a great shame. Okay, and like and really speaks to like how dare you, you know, right? It's like when you erase like a piece of culture, it's such like we know that that's a damning thing, right? We know that that's a horrible thing to happen. Okay, because like, you know, the only remnants we have of previous cultures is the art that they create, the monuments they made. Okay, or like a painting. Okay, or like how do we know ancient man happened? We see drawings on in a cave wall, right? And that's part of us. Okay, and a body of work, a huge body of work, allows us to create a higher survivability of our work. Okay, so an artist who creates a singular work, okay, a singular creation, that's great, awesome. Okay, a single masterpiece, that's still a worthy endeavor. Okay, but it can be easily destroyed. All right, but when you have a plethora of work, when you have a whole giant body of work, something else happens. You start seeing commonalities. You start seeing this one and this one and this one and this one, right? And you're like, okay, you see their body of work and you see there is a common thing between them. There's a taste, there's a preference. Okay, and there is an overarching theme with their work, and that's when you start seeing like parts of them, okay, in the work, and like also a higher truth. Okay, so for example, okay, one of my favorite artists, Gil Elvgren. Okay, he draws pinups. Okay, I think he's the best pinup artist. Okay, you could fight me on that one. I don't really care what you could just say. Okay, right? But you see his work and you're like, okay, well, that's one beautiful piece, right? That's another beautiful piece, right? Another beautiful woman, you know? But you see throughout the entire spectrum of his work, right? And then you see one common theme, and that is the beauty of the feminine. Okay, right? And its holistic sense, you know what I mean? And that's the thing that he brought to this world. Okay, and made people realize. Okay, and of course we all realize it, we all feel it, but to dedicate yourself to that work and then create something beyond that, that is a body of work. Okay, that is a theme that goes beyond him as a person, right? It relates to all of us. It relates to me, it relates to you, right? And maybe you don't feel that way, but for a lot of people, they feel this pull, right? And that is with so many pieces in line, with so much work like being shown around to everyone, okay, it rises above that and it reaches a whole new level of a transcendence, right? And you could burn one painting, you could burn another painting, right? But we have evidence that these paintings existed, right? And even if you take a picture, you can still feel that transcendence, right? And so you become eternal, right? You become part of the fabric of the divine. Okay, and that is that's the real goal. Okay, that's the beyond goal. All right. And you know what, like, I film these videos these ways because a lot of the times I really don't know what's gonna happen in the video, right? Like, I didn't know that I felt this way. I didn't know that I had this this theme. I never think about these things before I start the video. When I start the video, I come in like knowing very little, but I try to show you guys that there is the thinking process. There's the processing of my brain and the divine, okay? And like as a result, it's like slightly chaotic, right? So like my videos can go anywhere, right? but it allows me to reach into the chaos, into the divine, pull something down and reveal to you guys an essential truth that I didn't even know I was realizing in the middle of the video, right? And so like that's like that's part of the nature of these things, right? And like that's what I love about art and making these videos, right? It like it's as much for me as it is for you guys, because then I know my own thoughts, right? And I didn't know that before. It was just, you know, ether before, but now I've put it into words, and now it's something solid now for something for you guys to watch, right? So that's why I feel like it's so important for you guys to understand that your work is important, okay? That feeling is important. That feeling of transcendence is important, okay? And you want to do it again and again and again. You want to create, and because you want to get better too. You want to increase your skill. You want to increase your connection to the divine, okay? So that one day you can help add to the fabric of the divine. And I think we'd end the video here, guys. Please, if you enjoyed that video, hit that like, hit that subscribe, check out my Prince and Patreon if you want to support the channel, ring that bell for a notification, all that bullshit, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.